Yeah, if you have questions, just save them until the end, please. So, welcome to the Club Ratification Information Session. We're going to give you a general overview of the process. So before applying, there's really a website that I'm going to refer to throughout this entire presentation, which is the westernusc.ca/clubs website. It has all different types of resources, basically everything you need to know that will prepare you for your ratification application can be found there. So it's good at the beginning to read the procedure for ratification document. It's on the website, the specific link is here, but this document guides how the USC evaluates your application and tells you exactly what needs to be in the application. This presentation is based off that document, so that is the #1 document that you should know while creating a club. The deadline this year is going to be December 1st, 2020 at 11:59 p.m. And also it's important before you create your club to ensure that your club falls within acceptable clubs policies. So the procedure for ratification is a good stepping point, but you can also look at other clubs policy if you're confused about anything, or send an email to Neha or myself. So the application process. One of the most important things is to check for overlap with current clubs. That's one of the main reasons that clubs get denied ratification is because they have overlap with mandates of another club. So if you go to the link that we have here in the presentation, which is this presentation also, by the way, can be found at westernusc.ca/clubs. But if you go to that link there, you're going to be able to search all the current clubs that exist at Western and get a sense for the scope of those clubs, which is going to be very important to make sure that you don't step on their toes. The ratification applications will then be due, as I said, 11:59. In previous years, this is important to note, you've just had to send an email to the club's policy coordinator, but this year we've changed the application format, I guess. So now you go to the link that we have in this presentation, which is the Your Opportunities page of the Western USC website. You can look it up on Google, or you can link directly with what we have there in the presentation, and just submit documents on that application site, and that'll get to us. And then between January and April, the CGB will be reviewing your club applications, and results will be sent out. If you are approved, you'll be able to start operations in September 2021. As we said, all clubs need to follow clubs policy, and it's important that you have a general understanding of clubs policy as you apply to make sure that your club's activities fall within the USC's policies. Otherwise, your club application could be denied if the scope of the club . The kind of core part of your application is going to be a written statement or a video. That's 3 pages if it's a written statement, 5 minutes if it's a video, and it should answer these 5 main questions, which are also in the procedure for ratification document. What's the mandate of the club? Why does your organization want to be ratified? Answering that question is kind of like what benefits will the USC provide to your club as compared to the club operating without USC approval. That uniqueness part, so important. What are the risks associated, and anything else pertinent to your club proposal that you think would help the CGB make an accurate decision. Not everyone has to submit an external affiliation form, but if you have any affiliation or planning to have any affiliation with an organization outside the USC, you'll have to submit the external affiliation form. frequently, if you're planning, for example, a club who works with a charity, and you are going to be doing a lot of work with that charity and it's tied to your mandate, you'd have to have the charity fill out the external affiliation form. If you have any questions about whether you think you need to fill it out or not, email Neha or myself. Part 3 is just the executive list. Put together a list of those 4 USC mandated executives that will be executives starting in September 2021. And if you have other positions that you want to have in your executive, feel free to let us know who those people are as well. But you're not required to tell us. And part 4, Constitution. This is an interesting part because the CGB has just changed the Constitution. The changes will be reflected online in the next few days. Check later this week. But a Constitution effectively just governs the relationship between your club and the USC, and it outlines how your club functions. What you'll see is a document called the Club's Constitution Guideline. And every clause that's in the Constitution Guideline also has to be in your Constitution. But the document outlines changes that you can make to the document. It outlines places where you have a little bit of leeway, but just remember that your Constitution has to include all the clauses that are in the document already. I mentioned that you need to express interest of 25 people that want to join the club. What that means is that we need a list of people's names of graduate and undergraduate students who are currently attending the university. Their name and their email is the best. If you want, you can do student number, but it's not necessary. And that just shows the USC that you have enough people that are interested in joining your club, and your idea isn't like too niche that you'll only have 3 members. The budget. I know a number of people have been confused about the budget. There's a template that we'd like you to follow, which is, again, on the westernusc.ca/clubs page. I think there's a finance button that you need to click where you see all the club's policies. On the side, there's a button you can click and you'll get to a sample budget. In the budget, you should note that your minimum club membership fee is $5. So you basically just show us how you're planning on spending money. You have to also account for the $2.50 charge for every member that the USC charges for administration and insurance. So make sure that's in there. The USC, we want to see that your club's going to be able to be financially stable. If you're planning on running events, for example, that you're going to charge for, put that in the budget so that we can make sure that it looks sensible and it ties to your overall application. These events are also the kinds of things that you want to make sure line up with your budget. But yeah, we want to see a itinerary of 3 proposed club events that you can hold in a year. We just need, we want a little bit of thought to be put into this event planning process. It doesn't have to be like a full-blown event plan, but just a brief description of the event, potential venues. I think if I've also gotten a number of questions on this. It is okay, I'd say, for you to plan the next academic year in person from a budgetary perspective, partially because we want to see how your club's going to operate in the future as well. We're not just ratifying you for next year, we're ratifying you for a long time, and hopefully in-person comes back sometime over this long period of time that your club is ratified. And then just, yeah, a little bit of marketing strategy and explaining how the event will tie into your mandate so that we can get a full concrete understanding of your club and what your club is trying to offer to members. So yeah, that's it. I guess we'll open up the floor to Q&A. You can also email Neha or myself anytime before the application deadline of December 1st to answer your questions. Feel free to unmute yourself.
Hi, I have a question, if you don't mind. So I was just looking at the Constitution, and there's a section called amendments. So would you be able to explain a little bit more about what that is about? Because my team is a little bit confused.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon. My name is Mike from the Air Duct Cleaning Services. How are you?
Okay, so to answer your question about the Constitution, specifically with the amendment piece, we have a new Constitution template coming out, but are you looking at the Constitution guideline or are you looking at the amendment procedure?
The guideline.
Okay. Let me pull that up very quickly.
Yeah, sure.
Is there a specific, Article 7, is that what you're confused about?
I believe so, yeah.
Article 7 amendments. Okay, so two things. First of all, there's going to be an entirely new Constitution template coming out in the next few days. So watch out for that, and that'll be the one that we're going to be basing ratification on. But secondly, all you need to do with that clause is copy it and paste it into your Constitution. What it means is that later on, let's say 3 years down the line, your club is ratified, they look at your Constitution and they say, we want to change it. What that article does is it says you can change the Constitution 3 years down the line, and it references the policy in club's policy that tells you how to amend the Constitution. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see. So it's kind of like taking into account the changes that might need to be made in the future.
Exactly, and it tells you how to do that.
Okay, gotcha. So is that like like as a club, like we would have to write that down on like how?
There's actually an entire policy that the USC has about how your club will go about that in the future.
Okay.
So all you need to do in the Constitution is copy the clause in Article 7 word for word, which says refer to this policy when you want to change the Constitution.
Okay, sounds good. And all this is on the website that you mentioned earlier, correct?
Yes, the magicalwesternusc.ca/clubs website.
Sounds good.
And I'd say the Constitution template will be available online in the next few days. But if you want to like put your email in the chat, I can also directly email it to you now.
I don't think the chat option is available anymore, but I can.
Oh, it's not? Okay, no problem. Well, check the website in a few days.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Yeah, I just have a question. So how many days will that new Constitution template be out? Because I finished the whole application already with the old Constitution, and I have exams coming up soon. I don't want to do the whole thing all over again.
If you submit the Constitution with the old formatting, that'll be okay. That won't be a basis for rejection of your club. But if your club is ratified, after ratification occurs, we'll just send the Constitution back to you with the new template and ask you to reconcile to create a slightly new one. It won't impact your ratification application in any way.
Okay, thank you. I've been working over like 2 months now. I don't want to restart the whole thing.
Don't worry about it.
And also, just one more follow-up question. So I know that you said there's only one president allowed, one vice president allowed, and also one VP of Finance and VP Communications. That is.
Yep.
So for the application, can I have two presidents or just one president? Or
we need to know who the USC president is. In the Constitution, you see the list of responsibilities that are under the president piece. The most important one there from a USC perspective is the signing authority. The USC can't assign signing authority to two presidents. Signing authority is basically the person who signs off on all club expenditures. The USC will only recognize one person there. So you need to say who the USC recognized president is. And if you want to informally have a co-president arrangement, the USC doesn't really care, but we need to see who the actual president is.
Gotcha, makes sense. Thank you.
No problem.
Sorry, I have one more question.
No worries.
So there's a portion on the application where we have to outline how elections will work for members every year. So are there like particular criteria that we have to follow while outlining that, or?
Yeah. So if in the current constitution format that you're looking at, it effectively just says elections will be carried out, similar to the amendments piece. It says elections will be carried out in accordance with club's policy.
Okay.
If you go onto the Magic website, westernusc.ca/clubs, there's a club's election procedure that you'll be able to click on, which outlines how all elections work.
Okay.
The only thing that you get to decide in your constitution is whether a election is won by a simple majority or a 2/3 vote. And based on experience, I strongly suggest that you stay with simple majority.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Any questions?
You can also email either of us at any time if you have any questions. And I also hold club office hours every Thursday from 12:30 to 2:30. So you're free to come to those as well. If you have questions over the next couple weeks while working on your application, just send me an email and I'll send you the Zoom link for that.
With no questions, I'm happy to stick around. I'm sure Neha is too, but if you don't have any questions, you're free to leave the call. Thank you for coming to the ratification information session. And yeah, email myself or Neha if you have any questions that come up that you don't want to ask now.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you.
Atticus.
Yes.
Okay. So for the application for like the summary or like the general overview,
Yeah.
If I were to do a video, could it be like, do I have creative freedom with it?
You have creative freedom, Lauren.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you.
We like creative freedom.
Yeah, super.
Yeah, as long as you answer all the questions.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem.
Could I like give you my email over Zoom or?
Yeah. Do you want me to send you the new constitution guideline or?
Just like everything, like the PowerPoint, all that. So it's just like easily accessible.
The PowerPoint is available. If you go to the Magic website, click on. There's a little icon. Make your own club. Don't click the apply now button. That'll take you to the application. But click on the bucket icon, and that'll give you the presentation. If that makes sense. Click the bucket.
It's westernusc.ca/clubs. Sorry, guide me through once more.
Go
Make
down.
your own club, right?
Yes, and click on the bucket.
Bucket or okay, the bucket.
Under make your own club. And that'll take you to the presentation.
Okay, sounds good. Could I still give you my email just so
yes.
I know when you guys release? Okay. JKIM.
Yep.
2742.
2742.
Yeah.
At UWO.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you just want the Constitution template or?
Are there other stuff
That's it.
being updated other than the Constitution?